Good day to you, Guitar Gang. Adam here, AP Guitar. I'm going to talk to you about two intervals you absolutely must know. And I'm going to show you what an interval is, and I'm going to show you those two intervals, and we're going to start learning the differences between the two and how they can help you. So first of all, what is an interval? An interval is the distance between two notes. There is probably one interval that you already know, and it's called an octave. And it's where you play the same note here, and then you play it higher. So those are both the note of A. They are an octave apart. That is an interval term. Sometimes we know of the word octave, but we didn't know that it was an interval. But the two intervals today that we are going to look at are a third, so a major third, and a fifth, so a perfect fifth. They have names like this. Sometimes they're called major third, so major second, major third. Perfect fourth, perfect fifth, and then major sixth, and then major seventh again. And what they are is they're distances between the first note, so the root note, and scale degrees. So this is when you go through the major scale and you number each one of those notes. So that's not me just going through notes chromatically. That's me going through notes in the major scale. It's a very easy way to think about, or it's a very straightforward way to think about intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you can sing it like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then it's much easier to be able to identify intervals. And that's what we're going to do now. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I recommend that you stop the video and you try that. I think it'll be easier than you think. Even if you can't quite sing the notes, you know what the notes are, because it is the major scale. And of course, in Western world, it is the scale that has been instilled into us, into our ears and our brains as babies, because we listen to nursery rhymes, and nursery rhymes are all built on the major scale. If you're from a different part of the world, this will not be the case. But in the Western world, it surely is. All right. Okay. We're going to use the key of A major for this. And let's start looking at the two intervals that you absolutely must know. So today we're going to look at the major third. So this is when you go from the first note of the scale to the third note of the scale. Look, you can make your way there. Look, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there it is. So it's between the first note, the root note, and the third note. Let's look at the other one, and then we can start talking about them individually. The other one is from the first note of the scale to the fifth note of the scale. And that is called a perfect fifth. So again, look, if I went through the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, between the first note, the root note, and the fifth note. And we'll look at these, and then afterwards I need to tell you why these are important and why these are helpful as well. Should have done that at the start. Okay, so the major third, 1, 2, 3, it's closer than the fifth. So that is an indication. So look, we've got two intervals here that are not right next door to each other. So this could be a little easier to start to identify. With the major third, sometimes you can actually identify that it's a major third interval by imagining the fifth on the end of it, because that would be something that we're quite used to hearing and or playing, because it's an arpeggio. An arpeggio is when you go from a major arpeggio is the first, third, fifth, root note again, but look. So sometimes when I personally hear a major third, I can imagine that it's going to go afterwards to the fifth, and then I know that it's a major third. Okay, and then a perfect fifth. You can try to imagine those two notes played at the same time. Well, of course, that's a chord that we we have probably played before. It's a fifth chord, or in our terms as guitarists, it's a power chord. If you played those two notes together. I want to have a little chat about why we learn intervals. It's ear training. It's to help you, well, it certainly helps me work out songs if I can hear the intervals between notes. It's not always down here, like as low as this. You might go, that's a major third, or that's a perfect fifth as well. It helps you to start to work things out by ear, which is what we need. We need to ultimately be able to do. Another really good use of intervals is to be able to start to work out chord movement. So when we hear a chord progression in a song, what you do is you take the bass note of what you hear of each chord, and you can start to work it out via intervals as well. So you might hear the root note first of the first chord, then you might hear it go, so you can say, okay, then it's going to a major third. In this case, that would be a minor chord. And then afterwards, you might hear it go, da. Okay, that's the fifth. And that's a major chord. So working out intervals and learning intervals is to do with single notes and to work out melodies, and it's to work out chords as well. Lastly, what was lastly? Lastly, I think that was it. Just how you can practice these. Websites, apps, where they fire intervals to you. You can normally select which ones you want to be tested on, and then they'll fire them at you, and you can test yourself. But I tell you what, because you're here, I'm going to test you. I'm going to put my guitar off camera, and I'm going to test you. So, out of the two intervals that we have been working on today, a major third and a perfect fifth, which interval am I playing? And I'll play it once more for you in a higher octave. Let me know. But I'll tell you now as well. Okay? It was a major third. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. I hope that was useful. This is an introduction to intervals, and these are the first two intervals that you should know: a major third and a perfect fifth. If you have any questions, of course, pop them in the comments, but I look forward to teaching you again soon. I hope that this was a great use of your time. Thank you very much.